the senator who has never run anything at all but his mouth.
Well, she's never passed a bill. She's never passed a single bill.
I think there was a time when you did not lie in order to win.
She actually voted for the crazy people's budget, a socialist budget. She voted for it.
Marco Rubio and Val Demings, neither one pretending to be running for any sort of diplomatic post. In their first and last debate, the candidates for U.S. Senate from Florida had little time for pleasantries.
Yeah, that's right. They are fighting for themselves and for their respective parties to have control of the Senate. Demings needed a good performance tonight. In an average of polls compiled by Real Clear Politics, she has 41.8%. Rubio has 46.5%. That's a lead for Rubio of almost 5 points.
We have complete coverage for you. Jim DeFede will break down what he sees as the biggest strengths and weaknesses of the candidates. But first, Carly Barnett tackles the issues. Carly.
Lauren Elliott, they covered a lot of ground tonight. And speaking of those polls, they're showing most voters say inflation is a dominant issue. So Senator Rubio and Congresswoman Demings had this to say when asked about inflation and the role COVID relief may have played in that.
The first thing we have to start doing is stop spending that kind of money. We had already done 2 pandemic reliefs. This came on top of it. And they were warned. The Democrats were warned by Larry Summers, by other Democrat economists, you do this, you're going to fire up inflation. So that's number one. Number two is we've got to begin to produce American oil again. Why are we begging Saudi Arabia for oil? Why are we begging Venezuela and Iran for oil? We're producing 1 million barrels a day less on oil than we used to do just a couple years ago. Instead, we are depleting our reserves.
No one planned the pandemic. But our response to it is everything. Individuals were hurting, families were hurting, businesses were hurting. We passed the CARES Act, which the senator supported. There were some problems in the CARES Act with the Paycheck Protection Program that you love to take credit for. Some say it was poorly written. Some say it didn't help the people that it was supposed to, didn't save the jobs that it was supposed to. There was a way to fix the problems in the PPP through the American Rescue Plan and help people that were in trouble. But you played politics.
Another issue that brought back and forth was abortion. The question was directed originally at Rubio, who was asked if he would support a federal abortion ban with no exceptions.
I'm 100% pro-life, not because I want to deny anyone their rights, but because I believe that innocent human life is worthy of the protection of our laws. She supports no restrictions, no limitations of any kind. She voted against she's against a 4-month ban. She voted against a 5-month ban. She supports taxpayer-funded abortion on demand for any reason at any time up until the moment of birth.
That you support no exceptions, even including rape and incest. Now, as a police detective who investigated cases of rape and incest, no, Senator, I don't think it's okay for a 10-year-old girl to be raped and have to carry the seed of her rapist. Those decisions are made between the woman, her family, her doctor, and her faith.
Now, of course, with the recent mass shooting in North Carolina and the Parkland shooter trial wrapping up, they debated matters of gun control legislation. Here's what they both said.
What makes no sense is that we're going to actually pass laws that only law-abiding people will follow and criminals will continue to violate. The truth of the matter is, at the end of the day, that Americans have a Second Amendment right to protect themselves. They have, and these killers that are out there, if they're intent on killing as they are, they have found multiple ways to get a hold of weapons and cause mass destruction.
This is about taking dangerous guns out of the hands of dangerous people. And the overwhelming majority of people in our nation want us to do just that. How long will you watch people being gunned down in 1st grade, 4th grade, high school, college, church, synagogue, a grocery store, a movie theater, a mall, and a nightclub,
Congresswoman,
and do nothing?
Jim DeFede joining me now. Jim, you and I were talking about it just before the newscast. I mean, really both came out of the gate swinging here, really fired up. So we want to start with, what did you think they were most successful with in the debate? What do you think was each of their strongest moments?
Well, I think you just played it there for Val Demings. I think that her attack on Rubio on guns, she was passionate, she was energetic. I mean, she went after him in part, not just because of the record that she says she would support in terms of sensible gun regulation, but also holding him accountable for the fact that he made certain commitments after Parkland that he would do certain things and then failed to do so, and called him out on some of the talking points that he often parrots from the NRA. I thought it was her best moment in the debate. Now, for Marco Rubio, I thought his best moment came when on questions of foreign policy. I know we didn't play some of that, but when the questions started turning to what do we do in case Russia uses a nuclear weapon in the conflict there in Ukraine, or how do we stem China, Val Demings showed that one of the problems that you have when you're a member of the House, you don't have a lot of experience on foreign policy things. Marco Rubio, this was a real strength for him. He was able to play to something that he is very well versed in. He showed a real command of the issues when it came to foreign policy, talking about China. He's been a long critic of China, nobody doubts that, and also his experience on the Senate Intelligence Committee really played. I thought that was his best moment.
Now, of course, it wasn't all necessarily highlights. So the obvious follow-up question here, Jim, what do you think was each of the candidates' weakest moments?
Well, I thought the overall lack of civility in the debate, and you know, for those moments where Marco Rubio was a real statesman talking about foreign policy, you know, it degenerated pretty quickly for him in terms of going after Val Demings, using some of the language that we've just become sort of rhetoric at this point. He referred to her as a leftist, as a socialist, a Marxist. He called her ideas crazy. That sort of name calling doesn't really work, but to be honest with you, Val Demings had the same attacks and retorts for Marco Rubio, calling him repeatedly, calling him a liar, you know, pointing out, you know, how many times did she point out in this debate that he had been, you know, elected office for 24 years, trying to suggest that he had been in office for too long and lost touch with the people. I thought the weakest moment for both of them was really the notion that they weren't addressing how they would solve the issues that affect everyday people. They never really made that case, and I think that this was a lost opportunity for Val Demings in this regard. I heard a lot of her talk about why nobody should, why you shouldn't vote for Marco Rubio, but I'm not sure she adequately made the case for why you should vote for her. She made a negative campaign against him, but not as much of a positive expression for why you should vote for her.
Well, Jim, as always, we appreciate your insight tonight. Thank you. And I'm Carly Barnett for CBS 4 News Tonight.